I was so wound up at one point while watching The Conjuring that when the guy sitting in front of me sat up to sneeze, I actually flinched. That is when you know you're watching a good horror movie. Does it sound like I'm saying horror when I'm saying horror? I should work on that. The Conjuring tells the story of a family that bought a house not knowing about its very dark history. Soon enough, strange occurrences come about, so they hire paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine to help them. And this is definitely not the most original story in horror, and the fact that we've seen this kind of thing so many times as of late definitely hurts it, but if you're going to arrive late to the party, you better bring it, and guys, we have a horror movie. Horror, not horror movie. Sorry. This movie takes all the tropes from the movies we're familiar with and shows them in the best light possible. It gives us believable characters that for the most part don't make dumb decisions. And at one point, one of the characters go, "Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go down that dark, creepy basement." And when I was thinking, yes, thank you. But what happened next, I thought was brilliant. And this movie is just filmed extremely well. I mean, let's talk about the camera work. Even if you don't think the movie was scary, you have to admit, this is a well-made movie. There were some good zooms, there were just so many nice flips and panovers that were just so effective. And the movie isn't very cutty, nothing seems fake, and everything is practical. And sometimes I was just sitting there in the theater thinking like, how are they doing that? And the movie was very atmospheric, and it wasn't always like the movie that was scaring me. Like sometimes I was just sitting there just like doing it to myself, like, oh my god, something's about to happen. And I thought the sound had like a great hand in that. Like this movie wasn't made on like a micro budget, like Insidious or Sinister. Like they got their 20 million and they used it to make a movie instead of just getting the biggest names. But with that said, they still did get some good actors to sell this thing. So let's get to the cast. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga play the Warrens, Ron Livingston and Lily Taylor play the couple that owns the home, and I'm glad that the filmmakers decided to develop both couples, and they really got to act in this, especially Wilson and Farmiga, and not to mention that the child actors were actually pretty good. And I know that Hollywood gets a lot of flack for prettying up certain stories or like getting great looking actors to play regular people. Okay, they show a picture of the Warrens during the credits of this movie, and I have no issue with Hollywood prettying things up. I'm sorry, when Patrick Wilson or Vera Farmiga is like explaining this whole paranormal stuff to you, it's like you can actually buy it as real. But put the real Ed Warren in front of me and have him give me the same speech, and it's like, dude, you look really creepy. Please get away from me. And I like that the Warrens were portrayed in a good light. They believed in the paranormal stuff, but there wasn't like a ghost in every house. In one scene, they're in a house of this other couple and they're in the attic saying, yeah, there's just a draft up here, there's no ghosts. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Now, it does take a while for the movie to get to that point that people are hyping up. Like, they develop their characters, they do a couple of things with creaks and doors opening, and there are like a lot of isolated incidents in the beginning. But then it starts to build up, like those isolated incidents become more serious, and then by the third act we're focusing on one thing, and just when that thing is done, something is going on in the next room, and they are just stacking scare on scare, and it really works. And as scared as I was while watching this movie, I was also having a lot of fun with it. Like I'm sitting in this theater like really awkwardly with my legs and on the seat in front of me and kind of just like twisting, and it's like, this is a horror movie. And any nitpick I have just really doesn't even seem like worth mentioning, but I will address the whole it got a rated R. It got an R rating for being too scary. Like I liked the movie and it was scary, but I'm gonna be honest, I saw a PG-13 movie. Like no graphic violence, no harsh language, nothing sexual, and there are like 2 scenes that involve blood that you could possibly argue for, but I don't buy it. Maybe it was a marketing ploy, but if that's the case, I guess it worked because they definitely made their money back over the weekend. So tell me what you thought about The Conjuring in the comments section. If you like this review and you want to see more, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it.